Most people will work 40 years at a job they don't even like, so they can finally retire and do what they want. Isn't that a tragedy? 40 years of trading time for money, trading life for survival. Let me ask you something profound. What if you could design a life where you didn't need a vacation from it, where Monday morning felt as good as Friday afternoon? You see, the greatest failure in life isn't failing to reach your goal. The greatest failure is succeeding at something that doesn't matter to you. And that, my friends, is the difference between an employee mindset and an entrepreneurial mindset. I'm not here today to tell you that entrepreneurship is easy. I'm here to tell you it's worth it. And the person you become in the process, that's the real reward. You know, I've found that for things to change, you have to change. For things to get better, you have to get better. And here's the truth about transition. The same thinking that has brought you to where you are now won't take you where you want to go. The employee mindset says, I'll work hard if they pay me more. The entrepreneurial mindset says, I'll become so valuable they can't afford to pay me what I'm worth, so I'll pay myself. The employee says, if only my boss would appreciate me more. The entrepreneur says, the marketplace is the ultimate judge of value, and I will continually increase mine. The employee asks, when is my next day off? The entrepreneur asks, how can I make today count? You see, we all have two choices in life. We can make a living or we can design a life. Most people are so busy making a living, they don't have time to design their life. And that's the first shift in thinking, from trading time for money to investing time to create value. Nothing of value comes without a price. We don't live in a casual universe. We live in a causal universe. What you plant, you harvest. What you give, you get. What you see in your mind, you will hold in your hand, if you're willing to pay the price. Let me share something with you that changed my life. Mr. Schoaf, my mentor, told me, Jim, don't wish it was easier, wish you were better. Don't wish for fewer problems, wish for more skills. Don't wish for less challenge, wish for more wisdom. And that's what separates the employee from the entrepreneur. The employee wishes for an easier path. The entrepreneur builds the strength to walk a more rewarding one. Here's what I've discovered. Success is neither magical nor mysterious. Success is the natural consequence of consistently applying basic fundamentals. The problem is, most people are looking for the spectacular while neglecting the basics. You want to be an entrepreneur? Start with discipline. Start with personal development. Start with expanding your vision. Most people have no idea what they're capable of. They've been lulled into a comfortable mediocrity. Employees play the game. Entrepreneurs design the game. There are two pains in life: the pain of discipline and the pain of regret. The difference is discipline weighs ounces, while regret weighs tons. Let me explain something profound. Everyone must suffer one of two things: the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. The difference is discipline weighs ounces, while regret weighs tons. The employee mindset avoids the pain of discipline and eventually carries the crushing weight of regret. If only I had started that business. If only I had invested in myself. If only I had taken that risk. The entrepreneurial mindset embraces the pain of discipline, the early mornings, the late nights, the continuous learning, the failed attempts, the criticism from those who don't understand, the financial uncertainty. Why? Because they understand something fundamental. Time will pass anyway. 5 years from now, you will arrive. The question is, where? 5 years from now, you will be someone. The question is, who? Will you be the person who tried and grew, or the one who played it safe and regretted? I often ask my audiences, how many books have you read in the last 90 days? The average employee might say none, or one. The emerging entrepreneur might say 5 or 10. But what they're really saying is, this is how ready I am for opportunity. This is how prepared I am for the future. An employee waits for someone to tell them what to do. An entrepreneur looks at the world and asks, what needs to be done? You see, the marketplace rewards value, not time. It doesn't care about your hours, it cares about your contribution. And that shift in thinking is revolutionary. When I was poor, I used to blame the government, the economy, my employer. Then I discovered something life-changing. Success is not something you pursue. It's something you attract by the person you become. Most people are waiting for their ship to come in, and they haven't even sent one out. The entrepreneurial mindset says, I am the captain of my fate. I am responsible for setting the course. And here's something that changed everything for me. You are not paid by the hour. You are paid for the value you bring to the hour. As an employee, you might increase that value by 5% or 10% a year. As an entrepreneur, there is no ceiling. Let me tell you a story about two employees at a shoe factory. Both worked the same hours. Both had the same education. Both had the same training. But one looked at the job as putting in time, while the other looked at every shoe as a representation of who they were. One remained an employee their entire life. The other eventually started their own shoe company and revolutionized the industry. What was the difference? Mindset. One person thought like an employee. The other thought like an owner long before they became one. The employee focuses on the task. The entrepreneur focuses on the outcome. The employee follows the map. The entrepreneur draws the map. Strategic thinking begins with questions. What problem am I solving? Who am I solving it for? How can I solve it better than anyone else? What's the highest and best use of my time right now? What's the next logical step to take my vision from concept to reality? I worked with a young man once who complained about his salary. I asked him, what are you currently becoming that would cause someone to want to pay you more? He looked puzzled. You see, the employee mindset focuses on what they get. The entrepreneurial mindset focuses on what they become. Here's a fundamental truth. Your level of success will seldom exceed your level of personal development. Income seldom exceeds personal development. Income seldom exceeds personal development. Sometimes we need to hear things twice. Most people overestimate what they can do in a year and underestimate what they can do in 5 years. That's why so many start the entrepreneurial journey but abandon it when immediate success doesn't come. But here's the real cost: living with what if. 20 years from now, you will be more disappointed by the things you didn't do than by the ones you did. That's the price of staying in the employee mindset when your heart yearns for more. I often ask people, if you keep doing what you're currently doing, where will you be in 5 years? 10 years? Are you satisfied with that destination? If not, something needs to change, and that something is usually you first. You know what's interesting? We all want progress, but few want to change. And therein lies here's the essence of entrepreneurship. Find a way to serve many people. The employee serves one employer. The entrepreneur serves the marketplace. The size of your income reflects the size of your service. Want to make $1 million? Figure out how to solve $1 million problem. Want to make $1 billion? Solve $1 billion problem. When I was first starting out, I would complain about my income. Then my mentor said something that changed my perspective forever. Don't wish for more money. Wish to be more valuable. When you become more valuable, the money will follow. The employee asks, what can I get? The entrepreneur asks, what can I give? And that shift in focus changes everything. Let me share something profound. Money is the harvest of your production. You're getting paid today for what you did or became yesterday. If you want a larger harvest, plant more seeds. The employee works in the system. The entrepreneur works on the system. Most people trade time for money their entire lives. The entrepreneur builds systems that make money while they sleep. That's the difference between linear income and exponential income. An employee might increase their income by 5% a year with raises. An entrepreneur can double, triple, or 10x their income by creating leverage through systems. One of the greatest shifts in my thinking came when I realized this. For things to change, I had to change. For things to get better, I had to get better. The most valuable investment I ever made wasn't in stocks, real estate, or business ventures. It was in myself. The employee stays where it's safe. The entrepreneur goes where it's scary, knowing that's where growth happens. Most people let their fears choose their path. They make decisions based on what they're afraid might happen, rather than what they hope could happen. And that's a recipe for a life of quiet desperation. The antidote to fear isn't courage, it's clarity. When you're clear about what you want and why you want it, fear loses its grip. The entrepreneurial mindset says, I might fail, but I'll learn. I might be wrong, but I'll adjust. I might be scared, but I'll continue. There's a difference between interest and commitment. When you're interested in something, you do it only when circumstances permit. When you're committed to something, you accept no excuses, only results. The question isn't, do you have what it takes? The question is, are you willing to develop what it takes? Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. And here's what fascinates me about discipline. The pain of discipline is temporary, but the rewards last a lifetime. Most people focus on the pain of discipline and miss the reward. The entrepreneurial mindset focuses on the reward and accepts the pain as part of the journey. For 3 years, I struggled in business. I wasn't making money. I was learning, failing, adjusting, but not succeeding financially. Many people would have quit. Most did. But I understood something vital. Success is not measured by what you accomplish. It's measured by the obstacles you overcome. The employee wants the reward without the work. The entrepreneur understands the work is the reward, because the person you become in the process is the real prize. So let me leave you with this challenge. Starting today, think like an owner, not an employee. Take responsibility for your results, not just your actions. Focus on solving problems, not just completing tasks. Invest in yourself daily, not just when it's convenient. Remember, for things to change, you have to change. Don't wish it was easier. Wish you were better. Don't wish for fewer problems. Wish for more skills. Don't wish for less challenge. Wish for more wisdom. And if you do these things, if you develop an entrepreneurial mindset regardless of your current title or position, I promise you this. 5 years from now, you won't recognize your life. The income will be different. The impact will be different. And most importantly, you will be different. The choice is yours. You can continue to think like an employee, trading time for money, or you can begin to think like an entrepreneur, creating value that transcends your time. I'll close with this. If you don't design your own life plan, chances are you'll fall into someone else's plan. And guess what they have planned for you? Not much. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. The same is true for developing an entrepreneurial mindset. What will you do starting today?